Hey Deckers, NBA 2K25 has released and it's a bit of a mixed bag. It's playable at most points, but there are some real major problems. As you can see here during matches, with the settings that we'll show you, we are getting around 50 to 70 frames per second, and even in the warm-ups we're getting a good 70 frames per second, so it looks like the game is going to be pretty playable. And considering you can play these on mobile, you'd really think optimization would be better in this one. During halftime shows, we could get up to even 90 frames per second. We're running AMD's FSR2 on quality mode, with everything else on the absolute lowest settings here. And that's not low enough in the most part. I don't want to go any lower than AMD's FSR2 quality, otherwise it really looks hideous. It's bad enough when we start roaming the halls, and we already see some of that quality fuzziness as we dip down into the 30s quite regularly, just turning around with some major lag spikes and other bits and pieces. However, this gets even worse when we go out into the free roam world. Barely even holding 30 frames per second most of the time, major lag spikes under 20 and below sometimes out in the outside world, and this isn't even as busy as it gets, as this was recorded during kind of daytime, which the US is offline, so when this is going to get busy, it's really going to be quite bad. Now again, back into matches with things like the ProAm or ProAm, you have to correct me in the comments below on this. It does look like it's going to play at over 60 frames per second again, but I couldn't actually get a match. I waited around a few minutes and I didn't get anybody coming into any of these games. And likewise with some of the other modes as well. In the squad finder for rec matches, I also didn't get any matches after waiting around for a few minutes, and the same thing in the proving grounds. Now there may be a few more people around later down the line, but it definitely seems to be that a lot more people are just focusing on my career or just playing matches straight out. Over the area with Rise up on the billboard, like the casual courts on the outdoor courts, which has always been a staple of the NBA 2K series, did have a fair amount of people in, and I was able to join a match here. Again, on the free roam, it's dipping down into that 30 very regularly, but once I was actually into a match, obviously things focused down a lot better, and this was sticking around the 60 frames per second mark again. Now I'm sure you could cap this around 45, 50, try and get a more stable experience across the board, but you do like to have that 60 frames per second during games when you can, and it does do it quite well when we're not out and about. So if you can handle the issues with the free roam, then you are going to be able to play all the matches with these settings just fine. So playable or not, I'll have to let you guys decide on that. It doesn't have an official status yet, and you can see why. In my book, this is playable though, so if you do want to dive in, at least you can play some matches. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.